Good afternoon, traders. Welcome to this week's Elliott Wave Forex and Cryptocurrency Market Analysis webinar. Welcome, everybody. Hope you all had a wonderful week. We also have an interesting week going into next week. So some nice setups on silver and gold, and by nice I mean clear. All right, so a nice setup is something that is clear, so we're going to have a look at it during the analysis, so stay tuned for that one. It's going to be an interesting one to look at in the week ahead. Right, before we get started, let's just quickly show you that there are timestamps for the video, because it goes for about an hour and a half, so you don't want to go through an hour and a half of pairs that you don't want to look at. So under the description of each and every video, go to the timestamps. This will help you a lot to quickly navigate into the pairs that you are looking for. Right, so this works amazing. So if you needed course info in last week's video, you would have just clicked on 326 and then you'll find course information. For any other pair, if it's pound JPY, you just click on pound JPY and it take you straight to pound JPY analysis. Obviously, a few seconds before pound JPY starts, about 10 seconds before. So just hang on a bit. If you click and it's still a different pair, so just about 5 seconds before, so it gives you time to have a look at it properly. All right, so that works amazing. The course is starting tomorrow. We are starting our next course tomorrow. All right, so anybody who is interested in the course, you send me an email and I'll give you detailed information about the course. Also, if you wanted more information, I'm not going to talk more about the course. I spoke about it last week. You can also go on to last week's video and click on 326 and I speak about the course there. But if you wanted more detail, such as the timing, the content, the schedule, you send me an email and I'll send you all that. Even if you're not interested in joining now, you just want to have information, just send me an email. You will get an almost an automated reply regarding the course. Right, so let's get back to today's analysis. Let's start with Euro US dollar and the dollar index. Okay. So let's just get that to load out quickly. So what I'm going to try to do here, so the market is now in correction. So what I'm going to try and do for those that don't trade long term, I'm going to try to go down to the lower time frame so you can at least see the next move in the week ahead. So I'm not going to do a lot of long-term analysis. I'm just going to show you the short moves, the next quick moves that are going to be happening in the next week. But the idea is not to give signals. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to analyze the market using the reliable Elliott wave theory. Okay, so I'm giving you my views as per the strategy, right? So you still need to do your analysis. You have to use your own discretion when you analyze. So I'm not giving signals here, right? So we do get some great setups here, and I do advise you if there are some almost guaranteed setups, but there is no such thing as far as I'm concerned, because the market is unpredictable. No matter how sure you are, you can still get it wrong. And those trades that are almost guaranteed are the ones that can actually clean up your account, because you go in with high risk, you expose your account. All right, so before we get started, here's the question that we always pose when we start our course. And the question is there a difference between the Elliott wave in 1930s when Elliott discovered it and the Elliott wave now? Okay, and my view on that is that I'm going to spend just 3-4 minutes just to talk about this. So my view is that the formula remains the same. Okay, the market conditions have changed, the dynamics have changed, but the psychology is still the same. So the Elliott wave theory is based on market psychology. So the highs, the extreme highs and the lows are based on the optimism and pessimism of the traders. So that has not changed, right? So as much as we've got different dynamics such as high-speed trading machines, trading robots, your EAs and all that, that is still programmed by the human behavior. Okay, so it is still the same. So somebody's complaining about the voice. So if more than 2 people complain, then I'll check. So if only 1 person, then it's on your side. Please check. All right. So the market psychology has not changed. So the formula also has not changed. The dynamics has changed, but the formula remains the same as far as I'm concerned. It's just that when you look at the wave theory now, it applies slightly different to different markets. So with the stocks, you find a lot of pulsing moves. Okay, with stocks, you find a lot of pulsing moves, and that is where Elliott based most of Elliott's research was based on stocks, not mostly on forex. So forex and stocks go slightly different. Okay, the dynamics are still the same, but this you get a lot of three-wave moves in forex, unlike what you get with stocks, where it's mostly impulsive moves. So hence, most traders, when they learn the Elliott wave theory, they will be looking for the impulsive waves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because that's what the theory was based on. But the forex market is slightly different. Yes, on the indices you'll find those impulsive moves because the indices are based on the stocks. Okay, it's the index, it's the stock index mostly. Okay, so the formula remains the same even if the dynamics have changed. You just need to apply it correctly, and that is where the interpretation becomes very important, right? So you need to apply it correctly. So it goes to that saying that when the only tool you have is a hammer, every problem becomes a nail. So if the only tool you have is an impulsive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, your charts are just going to be full of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5s, and most of the times you are going to get it wrong. Okay, so if you need to understand when it is an impulse, when it is a motive wave, when it is a corrective wave, when it's a combination, when it's a triple combination of corrections. So that's where most people get it wrong. Okay, so now let's get going. So is my analysis really different to what most are doing it? It is actually not different. I'm just applying the principle correctly to the right market. Okay, so if you learn it correctly, you will be able to apply it correctly. So now let's get started with the euro, US dollar, and the dollar index. Okay, so let's get started. Right, so let's get started. We're going to look at euro, US dollar, and the dollar index. Somebody just type and tell Jeb that there is sound. He just needs to reset on his side. Right, euro, US dollar. What are we looking at in the next week? We are looking for this move to continue. We're looking for this correction to continue down here. All right, so we're looking for further downside. So a correction here in the lower degree. I'm on the 240. So you look for a correction in the 1 hour, and you take it further down. So last week, I think we were here on euro US dollar. We got this move to the downside. We forecasted that we're going to get this move to the downside, and then we got that correction, and then we're now getting this move to the downside. So what we have done in the last week is simply complete this move, correct. Now we're coming here, need another correction, you're gonna need to come back down here. There is a possibility for this to come back all the way here and retest this level. Then that will just slightly change the type of correction that we were looking for. Initially, we were looking for this to give us a zigzag correction, right? So it does not necessarily have to be a zigzag correction. It can be any of the 5 variations of corrections that Elliott has discovered. So the dollar index is the complete opposite. That is what we're going to be looking at this week as well. It is we're looking for this to give us continuation to the upside like that. Okay, so that's how we're going to be looking at this dollar index. I'm going to go into the individual charts now for euro, US dollar, and the dollar index. So euro, we're looking for further downside, continue downside. DXY, you're looking for continuation to the upside based on this 3-wave structure that we're looking to complete in the next week. All right, so let's get to euro, US dollar. And we're going to look at a single chart, and I'm going to give you a higher time frame view why we are where we are right now. Okay, so we have looked at this move since we were right at the top. Since this move started happening here, we have been looking, this labeling that you see here in green and in red, that has been labeled from right when we were still up here. So it was not labeled in hindsight. It is actually what we looked at from right at the top until now. So what are we looking at now? We're looking for this to give us a correction. So initially you can see that I had been forecasting that we're going to get a zigzag. It does not have to be a zigzag. It can be any corrective structure. So if you're getting a move to the upside like this, there's nothing that stops this from coming all the way down here and giving us a regular flat or an expanding flat, or in any of the corrections. Possibility of even this being larger than what it is and giving you another correction and giving you a combination and a bigger correction like that. But what we know for certain is where we are currently, because we've got enough data to know where the market is going in the next coming sessions. So that is very clear and easy to see. Let's go into the 4-hour. We are in the 4-hour chart. So this correction that we're looking at is this one here. We've made a motive wave up, pulsing move up like this, and now we are correcting as indicated in the previous time frame, that we want a correction to push a little bit further down to that area, and that will be your first target, and there's nothing that stops this from coming all the way down to 1,300. Okay, so this will be your first target there. All right, so that is Euro US dollar. The DXY is complete inverse of Euro US dollar. Let's just have a look at that quickly. DXY. So DXY, you also made this. We also made that pulsing move to the downside, and now we're looking. This was the upside on Euro US dollar. Okay, actually this makes a 3-wave move. 1, 2, 3 wave move, and then now we are correcting in this 3-wave move like this. 1, 2. We're looking for this to do that. Okay, so you just need to be careful here. This will be led by Euro US dollar. And depending on what Euro US dollar does when it gets to this level, if it pushes higher, then this will just follow as well. So you have to look at both of them to see which one is doing what first. So this can be a leading one. If it breaks up here, then we know it's going to go like that. Otherwise, it can give you a correction here, go up, come back down for one before it goes and give you something like that. Okay, so that's what you're going to be looking at. So Euro US dollar will have this structure in the opposite direction. You could be looking for this one. So dollar index will give you a lead. Right, that is the DXY. Let's do then the rest of the US dollar pairs. All right, pound US dollar. So pound US dollar will be following the theme of the strong dollar in the coming sessions. Let's have a look here. So pound US dollar, we made 3-wave move to the upside. Let's change the tool there. We made a 3-wave move to the upside. Let's get the yellow and switch off. Okay, we made a 3-wave move to the upside. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now what is the next move on pound? The next move on pound is continuation to the downside. This can get back to this level, come back to this level, forming this correction. And if it does that, this will be the move that you're looking at on pound if we get this corrective structure. So of course now we've got a 3-wave move up, so all you're gonna get there will be an overall 3-wave move like this, 1, 2, 3. But excuse me, the next move that you are looking for is this one to continue further downside. So wait for this corrective structure, you'll get this further continuation to the downside. Or this can actually just go sideways, because now this has made a 3-wave move to the upside. You've got 3 up, you've got 1 down, you've got 3, 1, 2, 3. There's a possibility that this can give you that up, down, and then go before it comes back, making still the 1, 2, 3-wave move before it comes down. Okay, so keep an eye. Next move, immediate, you're looking for a flag for continuation to the downside. All right, so we looked at this. Day before NFP, same as the euro and the pound US dollar. You'll see the analysis that we looked at the day before NFP on gold, because gold is quite interesting, as well as silver in the next coming sessions. All right, so let's do US dollar CAD. Let's finish with all the US dollar pairs. US dollar CAD. Right, loading US dollar CAD. Right, now let's go to the daily. We're going to look at US dollar CAD on the daily because it's important to see the structure on the daily. Right, I need you to see two things here. So we spoke about this move, I think a couple of weeks back, that we made a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is not a 5-wave move, guys. It is a WXY XZ move there. Okay, so that's what we looked at. So here, same thing. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So somebody can say, why did I cut through that? That is something that we learn in the course. All right. So what we have here, we've got 1, 2, 3 wave move WX. 1, 2, 3 wave move Y. 1, 2, 3 wave move X. What are we expecting now? What are we expecting now? You are expecting this move. This is the move that you're expecting. You already have the first part, which is the impulsive move to the upside. Now you're getting this correction, so you need to wait and be able to time entry here. You're already out of this structure. You can already see that we are out of that structure, so you need to get a move to the upside, okay, to complete the Z. What happens when we complete the Z? This is what happens. This is what happens after completing the Z. Okay, so that's what you're going to be looking at on US dollar CAD. You're looking for this move, this 3-wave move to the upside in the next coming session. So you will find that even if you know the direction of the market, you may not be able to get the timing right. So this is not done in hindsight. So I want to show you, for the benefit of some that have not seen this before, how accurate this analysis is when you understand what you're doing and how we traded this, because it's easy for somebody to come and label this after it has completed. So I remember when we were looking at this last year, when we were looking at these moves last year, some trend line traders and support and resistance traders were looking at this as a trend line like this. Now you see this is a perfect trend line. Okay, it gets broken here. If you look here, the trend line gets broken, but it goes back inside. Now this time it breaks, and trend line traders will tell you that it is retracing and now it's ready to come down. But essentially what happens there, that is not a trend line that you are looking to trade. So because after that, what they did was to adjust that very same trend line to look something like this. So it was like this. It was perfect before you had more data. So now, after you get more data, you then come and adjust this. So what good is your trend line if you're going to keep adjusting it? So then it is not relevant. So that is why I keep saying we do not trade these lines. We don't trade these lines. We're trading the structure, and our levels are based on the fee on the fib levels, and that's also a huge part of the course that we concentrate on. Because if you cannot understand, if you don't understand Fibonacci, you cannot trade the Elliott Wave theory, because that is the basis of all your levels, not the supports and the resistance or the supply and demand areas. So let me show you how we traded this one so that you can understand why I'm looking at this piece like this. And this could be an interesting one because you could get this move. You could get all this move to the upside and all this move to the downside here. Okay, so that's why you need to be able to understand this, because this could be a couple of pips to the upside, and this was 1,300 pips the last time. So let's see if I can get it quickly. If I can't, then we'll just show it next week again. So I'm gonna try and get that. Let's get it quickly. See if we can find it quickly. Okay, there we go. So US dollar CAD, I'm going to clear all this so you can see how accurate this is. Let's find US dollar CAD. Right, so this was the analysis the last time around on this pair. Here it is. This was last year, as you can see. You see exactly the same thing that I'm doing here with the current move. Exactly the same thing that I'm doing with the current move. I'm expecting this 3-wave move to the upside. And then this drop, this 1,300 pips that we are looking at now. Okay, so you see it is not in hindsight. So while support and resistance traders are doing this, trend lines and doing this and waiting for this to break out before they can actually take a trade, here we were taking it right on the pip, right on the dot. Okay, so now you look on the next one here. So these setups don't happen every day. As you can see, this took almost a whole year to build up. So we don't get these setups every day. But when they do set up like what it is currently setting up as now, it gets very interesting. So this was the move in the 4 hour. That is where it started going to the upside. So this was that move in the 1 hour. This is where you took the entries. You got 600 pips up. It went into correction. You got another 600 pips up. So you can see that I was forecasting this blue box right here. That is where we wanted to sell it for that 1,300 pips. If we close this one here, and you see that that touches the blue box right to the pip, as you can see, right to the pip, and then reverses. It's actually not the wrong pair. So sorry. Let's get the right one. Let's get the right one so you can see. That's the right one. So the right one actually just touches, not a pip higher than the blue box, and then we started the drop. We started the drop, and it went down for all that 1,300 pips that you see now on this chart. So let's go back to the chart so you can see what we're looking at. So you see, this is not in hindsight. It is not in hindsight. See, that is that move. Right on the pip, touched the blue box and dropped. So exactly the same thing that we're looking at here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we'll be looking for a drop. Okay, no, not hindsight, so you need to be able to focus this. It does not happen every day, but when it does, we are going to get this move. And these are the kind of moves that restores all those lost accounts. Okay, so that's what you're going to be looking at. You're looking for a correction here on US dollar CAD. It may take a couple of days before you can actually get that upside. Okay, so that will be an interesting one to look at in the coming weeks. All right, so I will highlight this one on the timestamps, so you can keep monitoring it. All right, so US dollar Swiss short-term strength on the dollar. Okay, we are bearish, but because of the short-term strength, this may just be correcting in the coming sessions. We've got this reversal here. You're getting the correction, so this can come back to that level, making this 1, 2, 3, giving you this flat correction. Okay, so that's what you're going to be looking at on US dollar CHF. You can see it is bearish, but this is a 1 hour time frame. So you'll be looking for this to continue to the upside. So this is supporting the correlation of all the US dollar pairs being strong short term. Right, that's what we're going to be looking at next week. That's US dollar CHF, US dollar. Now we're looking at US dollar, AUD, US dollar. So we are looking downside. AUD has been bearish for the longest while. Okay, so those who have been with us for some time will remember that we forecasted this correction on AUD US dollar, right to the pip, blue box, and a drop. We got this move similar to what I gave you as at US dollar CHF. US dollar CHF, the move to the upside, where we were looking for this to give us a correction and drop. So US dollar CHF still has to complete this correction before we drop. Okay, so we actually took that one from there, and then from there you just keep selling it. Obviously, you don't have to hold. You don't have to hold it for. You don't have to hold it all the way through. So you just have to get these entries. The triangle. We also looked at the triangle. Now all you do is you look for these corrective structures, and you take trades coming down. So where is the target for this? What is the target? If you keep taking this, you need to know where you're going. So the target for this, I'm going to go to the daily, because it's not just a matter of selling the flag without knowing how far it should go. Okay, so where you are going is here. You are coming here. If you look through one of my videos, just search for AUD US dollar historical analysis. I don't know what I call it, but something that is I think AUD US dollar. If you just look for it, look for a historical analysis on AUD US dollar, you'll see that we forecasted that we're gonna get all of this as a correction and a move all the way down. Okay, so that's what you're going to be looking at in the next coming sessions. Okay. Sorry guys, just give me a second. Hang on a second. Right, let's carry on. Sorry, my daughter has just walked into the office. Okay, guys, let's carry on. So that is where you're going to be looking at. And if we don't get any deep correction, I've been saying this for a couple of weeks here, this can come and cut through here and come to this level. As you can see, it does not happen in a straight line, but we are looking for this move. So this is the move that happened. This is this you are looking to you correct this. This corrected this whole move. One, you see. So now, if we don't get a deeper correction here, that will give you a different structure here. You cannot get this up bounce before you come down. So this can just cut through. So Audi weakness also is correlated to gold weakness, because Audi and New Zealand are correlated with the metals. Okay, so you're gonna see as we go to the metals that the metals are also still bearish. So we're still looking for more downside, for further downside on Audi and the metals. So New Zealand will be similar as well. New Zealand US dollar. New Zealand US dollar. As you can see here, also the next target on New Zealand US dollar is this one. And same here also, if you don't get a deeper correction, this will go through here. So what typically happens is that you will get, let's just switch on the labeling there. Just see what we have there. So what typically happens is that you will get a bounce here, a correction here. This will tell you whether you are going to break this level. Then we're going to get a correction further downside, further to the downside. Okay, so if you don't get that deep correction, it's going to cut through for many pips to the downside. All right. That Audi, I think that concludes all the US dollar pairs. We do US dollar ZAR last on this one. So US dollar ZAR has been just skyrocketing to the upside. So emerging markets have been slaughtered very hard in the last couple of sessions. But that is all clear on the chart. So it looks like a US dollar ZAR, this move that is currently happening now is this one, this move here. So we're still gonna have more weakness in the ZAR. All right, so a break of this level will open further weakness onto US dollar ZAR. Okay, but that is a long-term analysis. Let's look at what is happening short-term. So what is happening short-term, and this is how interesting the wave theory is when you trade it. So initially we forecasted this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and an extended wave 5. Okay, and then after that we got this correction. After getting the correction, you can see that that means that this will be an A, this will be a B, and this will be a C move. I actually thought that this C was completed here, but that's where we now got that one move to the upside, and this now actually completes it properly. Then that means your C is here. So you can be forgiven for having taken your profits at this level, because this had completed the overall move, which is this one here. Let's show A, B, and a C. Okay, so now what are we looking at? What are we looking at now? We've made a 3-wave move up, 1, 2, 3. Now you're looking for a deep correction. You're looking for a deep correction, something this size. Let's go to the daily, see if we can find it from here. Something that is similar in size as this. So which means in the next coming sessions, what you need to do on the ZAR, if you're a long-term trader like me, you need to wait for a structure like this, because you cannot get in here for a buy. You cannot sell this now here because you don't have any setup for a sell. Okay, so if you get a setup for a sell, you can take it short-term. That will just be building a correction, something like that. Can be doing something like that. Can do something like that. Can do something like that. You get this correction, and you get this correction here, same size as this. That's what typically you will be looking out for. Okay, but before you get this, you cannot trade this long term. So what will this mean? Getting this correction. This correction will mean going back to the previous high, the all-time high at 18, to retest that level. Okay, let's see. So initially we had this move here. We had this 3-wave move to the downside like this. So if we get that correction, even similar in size as this one, that will just mean that you're getting a 3-wave down, a 3-wave up, retest that before you get a reversal to the downside. There's a possibility for it to come all the way down and then go if it's giving us this bigger correction. But that shouldn't matter for now. What matters is all the data that we have. We've got enough data to tell us that we need to get a corrective structure here, and then a move to the upside. Short term, let's see what you're getting short term. If there's anything tradable in the short term, let's go to the 1 hour, or rather the 4 hours, more clearer. Okay, so short term, with the US dollar strength, you could be looking to come and retest this level. So look out for this structure. it has made a 3-wave move to the downside. So there's a possibility that this one makes one down before we go. Why do I say one more down before it goes? That's because if you're looking at this one here, you've got 3-wave down, you've got a correction. Here you've got only 1, 2 down. You need to get 3 down before you get to that upside. So this could be a 3-wave move as well. So just keep an eye on this one. So this could also be just like this, and it could be completed like that. But this will be a short zigzag. We don't want a short zigzag. We want something like this. If you just show it quickly, 1, 2, 3, correction, 1, 2, 3, and then that will be the structure that you look for these to come and retest this level. Possibly do that. Okay, so that's what you're going to be looking at on US dollar ZAR. Okay, you've got a wave up. You are looking for this corrective wave. Okay, so you can look for this to break to the upside. As I said, I'm expecting that we may drop one before it goes. Nothing stops it from going all the way and making a short zigzag. That will still be within the rules and the guidelines. That's US dollar ZAR, and that concludes all the US dollar pairs. Now let's look at the yen pairs. We'll start with the pound yen. Let's look at the pound yen. Okay, so the pound have made some crazy moves in the week. Okay, but those moves are simply part of the structure. So let's go first higher time frame, 4 hour. So on the 4 hour on pound, the next move, we're looking for this to make a further continuation to the downside, make something like that and something like this. So we are still looking for one more down overall on pound JPY. Right, so this structure right now is not tradable. You do not have a setup for anything here. This an incomplete correction, so you need to wait for this correction to complete to know what is going to happen from here, whether you're going to get a drop slightly here before you come back to this level and then a drop. We are actually looking for a drop. From historical analysis and labeling, this tells us that we need to get one up, a drop. Let me take this off. Let's just go to the daily. It doesn't look clear there. Historical analysis tells us that we need to get one more down before we go all the way up. So if you wanted to understand labeling, you can see that my chart is not only labeled one string, everything on the chart is labeled. Okay, so let's see here. See, not only just that string. So far back here, you'll see that I'm just labeling the higher degrees, but otherwise the whole chart is labeled. So this I'm saying to try and answer the questions that I get about where do you start with the analysis. There is no starting point. There's no starting point. You analyze your whole data. The whole data that you have on a chart must be analyzed. That tells you the direction. Okay. Okay, so now what are we looking at here? We have got an impulsive move. We are looking for this correction. This is on the daily. Wait for this correction. Be patient with it. Let it complete. So don't have the FOMO when you see these short-term moves coming down, because these short-term moves are very risky for your account. But we are essentially looking for one up before we come down. Okay, that's what you're going to be looking at on US dollar and on pound JPY. So let's just go back again to the 4 hour. As I indicated, you can see that that structure is incomplete. It is incomplete. Okay, so don't look at that arrow. That arrow is for the higher time frame. So higher time frame, we're looking for this structure to complete down before we go to the upside. Okay, so that's pound yen, and let's look at US dollar JPY. US dollar JPY, interesting. I think this one in the week next trading session should give you a nice setup. If we go to the 1 hour. On the 1 hour, you are looking for this correction here to complete. Okay, we've already made a move up. We are starting with this corrective structure. So this correction, you need to understand how these corrective structures play out. So what I'm doing here with this annotation here is not necessarily the structure that it will take. I'm just showing you what it will look like in this time frame. But otherwise, you need to see what the correction is in the lower time frame before, so you can know when it is complete and when it is ready for entry. So that's what you're going to be looking at in the next coming session. All right, so this spike is a spike of market data. It definitely is, because now what this means is that it means that you've got to move up, you've got a corrective structure down, you've got to move up, and you're getting this correction, which will possibly come back up here. If it breaks, then it will just go all the way, but it can come back for one and then do that. So that's why it's important to understand the corrective structure. So here, also premature, wait for this to start building up first. All right, so that's your US dollar JPY, CHFJPY. So CHFJPY from the trade that we took last in the 3 weeks back. Let's just go to the 4 hour, see how that is playing out now. Okay, it has not dropped, it has missed the blue box by a measly few pips. Okay, what are we expecting now? We've got a move, 3-wave move to the downside. We've got this move, looks like it wants to do that. One correction down like that, then that will complete that corrective structure, and we may still get further upside on this one. Okay, right, so those who have been watching these videos have got this move guaranteed from here for 250 pips. Okay, so now what are we looking at for? If this completes, this will possibly go even further than the blue box, but that is, the blue box is our target at 51150. Okay, right, so that's what you're going to be looking at on Chief. So correction here to the downside, down, then the move that you're looking for is to complete the upside. Okay, and you want this move because this can even go further than the blue box, but let's keep an eye and see what we get. We're looking for downside 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then upside. Okay, still an immature correction. Keep an eye on it and see how that plays out. Okay, so that is Chief JPY, and looking now at EURJPY. Okay, EURJPY. Right, so EURJPY, also in the next coming session, you just need to wait for a corrective structure for this to complete this 3-wave move to this level. It's a possibility for it to come back to this level, but the next move should be here. If you get a decent correction from that level, then it is gonna come back to that level. Still bearish, the euro is still bearish, and you have seen euro US dollar, we are bearish. So same here, we are still bearish euro US dollar and EURJPY as well. Okay, so next one will be AUDJPY. Audi, as we spoke about Audi itself is weak. This one has completed this structure. Let me just show the labeling there. So that is the structure that has been completed by Audi. Okay, a WXY move like that, and we are now looking for this downside. This numbering does not look right, because that looks like it's coming down in 3 waves. So let's get that off. We've got a 3-wave structure. It can actually qualify to be a 5-wave move, like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a 5. Okay, but what we're looking out for here is continuation to the downside. Up to which level? Where are you looking at? Let's go to the daily, show you which level you're looking at. You keep selling the Audi, it is still weak, and in this case, you're looking for Audi to come all the way down to this level. Okay, so that's what you're looking out for, or possibly around the 88 level. That is AUDJPY. Now New Zealand JPY. New Zealand JPY, same. You're looking for it to come down to this level. So that means corrective structures, you keep selling. You keep selling to that level. So Audi and New Zealand are weak. Are still weak. Are we still bearish there? All right. You will see as we go to the pound pairs as well and the euro pairs, you'll see that all the pairs that have got New Zealand and Audi are doing the complete opposite of what the other pairs that are correlated with the same are doing. So Audi and New Zealand weakness is very apparent and clear. Right, so that's New Zealand. Just go to the 1 hour time frame, see what you have. All you have is a pulsing move down. You don't have any setup. And if you're going to be involved in any of this, you need to have a decent correction like this, a decent correction like that, a decent correction like that. Okay, this one would not have been a clear one to enter, but you would have got it. Even this is not a clear one, but this one would have been an interesting one to enter, because after entering here, this will not reverse back on you. This has broken this low, so a correction here means you're going further downside. Easy. And you are just looking for that target. You just want an entry point and keep selling it going towards your target. That's New Zealand. CADJPY. CADJPY is a little bit tricky here on the 1 hour. We've got a 3-wave move to the upside. Okay, is this gonna make a 3-wave move like that? And then this like that, giving you all of this as a corrective structure and then a drop. So this is what you look out for now. Immediately, that's what you're gonna look out for. Enough data that we have tells us that we've made a move down, 3-wave up, a move down, and now we're looking for this to correct. If we get a flag here, the next move will be here. So this will typically go sideways. So not a nice trade to take in the next couple of sessions, until this corrective structure is completed like that. When it is complete like that, that's going to be a good move for downside on this pair. Let's look at the higher time frame. Right. So in the higher time frame, so in this time frame, we would have been looking for this to give us this structure as a expanding flat. But as you can see, what is playing out here, if it plays out like this, then we are coming down to this level. Okay, so we have to look both internally and externally, low and high time frame. So in the lower degree, this is telling us that this expanding flat may not be the right alternative. Okay, so look out for these to start building up here. That's CADJPY. I think that concludes all the yen pairs. Now let's do the silver and gold, to the metals. Now looking at, let's take this off here. Let's look at gold first. Some interesting moves that have happened since last week. So let's look at where we were last week and where we are this week. Let's check. So last week we looked at gold and silver at the same time, and this is what we looked at. So if we were looking at this in terms of the structure that it was making, this would have told us that this is making a corrective structure. This is where gold was last week. And we would have been looking for this to have completed and get further upside. So what I said last week was that you do not look at all these pairs that we're looking at. You cannot look at them in isolation. You need to have a look at the whole market, where it's at its position in the market in terms of correlation with the other pairs. So now I'm going to bring silver, and we'll look at silver at the same time and show exactly what we looked at last week and what is playing out now. Very interesting. So let's have a look. So gold on the left-hand side, and I'm going to put silver on the right-hand side. Let's get silver, XAG there. So this is the 60-minute on gold. Let's see where we were. So last week on gold, we were here. That's where the vertical line is. You can see at the 2 points, this is where we were when we did this analysis. On gold, we were here last week. Silver was, let's check here again, at that point, was here, making this upside move. Okay, so if you looked at this last week without looking at the whole market, you would have thought that this is making a corrective structure 3-wave, and you're looking for this to continue to the upside. But because silver had made a clearer structure, we could see this structure clearly last week. We could see this clear structure clearly last week, and that there was no way that silver was going to go up. So that is why we forecasted gold to come down as well. Okay, gold to come down like that. And we also even had a setup in our group where we wanted to sell this one here. We wanted to sell it here. Let me just clear everything here, and I'll show you what happens with the market and how you need to understand and track the market. I made a setup to sell here for the further move to the downside. Does that mean that setup was wrong? So you'll see what we looked at here and what happened. So I'm going to go into the lower time frame, say 30 minutes, because you can trade all time frames. Let's go 30 minutes, so you can see the whole structure on the left-hand side. So why was I looking to sell this? Because it has made a three-wave move to the upside. 1, 2, 3, right? We had a three-wave move to the upside. No, not like that. Let's change that. It is this move. This is the wave. This is the correction. This is the wave. So we had this three-wave move. So I was simply looking for this to break to the downside. What would that move have been? The one that I focused it here would have been a clear WXY move. Okay, so now what has changed with this structure? Nothing has changed. All that has happened is that this has made a double. So which means it is making a higher degree correction. So instead of this only simple three, instead of simple three and drop, it is making a double. It is making a 1, 2. It is making a 1, 2, 3, and then a drop. Okay, so that's all you wait for. So you did not get any confirmation for a sell here. Okay, so you had this drop during NFP. That is actually what has been what our forecast has always been. So you need to be able to anticipate these moves to be able to trade, because if you just wait to sell the trend lines or breakouts without understanding the structure, that's where you lose a lot of money. Okay, so most people, because this would have not worked out, would have just left this and said, okay, this is actually now going up, which is not the case. It is you must follow your sequence regardless of the changes. Don't give up on the setup, because this setup is not only just based on this structure, it is based on historical data, something like this. If I go to the daily, if you look on the left hand side, if I go to the daily, gold, we are looking for gold to come down. Okay, we're looking for it to come down. So the overall structure on gold is this correction. See on the daily. So you cannot leave your bias because of a single move in the lower time frame. So the daily is telling us we had a move up, we've got a three-wave back. Here you may still get another one and a further drop, because gold move to the downside is incomplete. You may not even get this upside. This can just drop all the way, because overall target on gold, if I show you, is around 116, 120. Around 120 area, which is the target that we forecasted when gold was still right here at the top. Okay, because of this move. And what is that move? Looking at this as a three-wave move, and now a pulsing move to the downside like this, making this a flat correction. See, easy. So many points to the downside. Okay, so whatever is happening here, I do not believe that we're going to have upside on gold. I'm still looking for this to come back down here to this level, because that sequence in that degree is not done. Okay, so this could even be a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a 5. So keep an eye on this one. But silver is now doing exactly the move that gold did last week on the 1 hour. So I'm going to go silver 1 hour as well. The exact move that gold did and we disregarded. So if you look at silver here now, if you look at silver and what silver is doing now, okay, let's get both on the 1 hour. Silver is doing the move that gold did last week. You see, it made a three-wave up, and this looks like a correction, and it looked like we're gonna go up. Okay, but that is not the move that we are looking for. The move that you're looking for on silver is downside. Even if it's gonna have if it's gonna have one up and a down, but we are looking for downside based on the move that was made by gold. What do I mean that gold made this move and we ignored it? Let's see. Because of the overall structure of the market. So what did gold do? Gold made the three-wave move up, 1, 2, 3. Silver made the three-wave move up, 1, 2, 3. After that, gold made a three-wave pullback, a three-wave pullback like that. We were not there. It made this three-wave pullback. This is the pullback that would have made one believe that gold is ready to go. This move would have made one to believe that gold was ready to go upside. But because silver was here, at that point, and we could see that silver is now coming down. There was no way that gold was going to go up because silver had a clearer structure. So now similarly here, we are looking for gold 1 hour to come down to this level. So we are not looking for silver to make a move up. We're looking for it to come down back to the 14 level initially. Okay, so this there may be a bounce here, and whatever we get here on silver will just be propelling us to the downside. Because remember what I said on silver, the overall target on silver, we're looking for this to go down to the 1350 level. Let's see if we can see that on the daily on silver. I'm looking for this to come down here to this level, around 1364. After this correction, not too far now. Okay, so that's what you're going to be looking at. Gold, let's see. Also, this move on gold could just come. Okay, we just need this one in the short term to come down to this level. Okay, and this can be a 3-wave move like that. Okay, so that's silver and gold and what you need to expect. So silver is building up this structure. You can see there's no signs of reversal here. It is building a correction here. So that's telling you further downside. That's why we could spot this correction beforehand. Same thing here on silver, which is busy with the correction. Here on the lower time frame on gold, even if I go on the daily on gold as well, you'll see that we are still bearish. Let's go daily. So when you're looking at the lower time frame, do not forget your higher degree structure. So gold, as much as this looks corrective, this can actually just keep dropping, and this becomes all the correction that you had there, and this just keeps dropping. We've seen this structure a lot on pound AUD. Okay, we'll show, if I remember, I'll show you when we look at pound AUD. But we are looking for gold to come down to this level, and for silver to come down to this level. A break of this level on silver, the current level now, which has been broken, opens downside to this level. We are coming here, not support and resistance, but structural levels. Okay, and we're looking for the same on gold to come down here. All right, so those are the two pairs. So now let's carry on with the pound pairs, pound CHF. So the pound pairs have made those spikes in the week. So let's go back to one chart now. Let's get pound CHF. Currently, don't know if you're referring to the gold correction or the silver correction. It looks very small, so that's why it needs to mature before we carry on. Now, if you're looking on the daily on pound CHF, you'll see that those spikes that happen in the week don't mean anything. Nothing has changed. All you're looking for is a corrective structure here and further drop to the downside. The next level is still this one on pound CHF. Okay, we're still looking for this to come down here. And this, similar to silver, may make a corrective structure here and just push through if you do not get a deeper correction at current levels. Okay, so a correction here will mean further downside on pound CHF. Okay, that's what you're going to be looking at pound CHF. Now, interestingly, if you look at pound AUD now, you'll see that pound AUD is doing the complete opposite of what the rest of the pound pairs were doing. So now, this we actually thought, got this one wrong. We actually thought this was going to be a 1, 2, 3, and this was going to be a 1, 2. Just clear that. That's going to be a 3-wave move here. I expected this to make a 1, 2, 3, and a drop like that before we go up. But it looks like this move has actually completed. Okay, so we've been looking for this. We've been looking for this to complete this structure here, this 1, 2, 3 waves. Okay, that's why I even tried to sell this one here. When did I set up here? Actually lost a couple of trades looking for this to come down here. Okay, so that's part of trading. You get these ones wrong sometimes. So the interesting thing is that with the wave theory is that every move that you analyze can be explained, whether win or lose. So can we explain this move and what the actual structure is? Very simple. If you look at the labeling now, simple. This is what you're having here. I think I need to clear this so we can see the structure. And I'm going to show the structure with the annotation because it's easier to see with the annotation than with all these numbers. The numbers don't mean anything. So what do you have here? We've got 1, we've got 2, we've got 3, we've got 4. Similar to US dollar CAD, you are looking for a Z. Now you're looking for this to correct, and then you go for a Z before you come down, because all of this here is a correction. It's not a motive wave. So what are you looking for? You are looking for this blue W, blue X, blue Y, blue X. Now you're looking for this one here. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're looking for this one here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, you've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, not like that. It's 1, 2, 3 here, 1, 2, 3 there, 1, 2, 3 there, 1, 2, 3 there, 1, 2, correction. You're looking for this correction. That's why you need that correction. So after that correction, you need to get the Z before you get the big drop. You're gonna get a big drop here. But they can keep pushing it higher and higher, and that's what they do when they want to drop it. Okay, so now you can go with it up until you can focus the target for a Z after you get the correction here. Okay, and then you're gonna get that drop to the downside, similar to what you had on US dollar CAD. I showed you the structure on US dollar CAD. You can refer to that. You've got a clear WXYXZ. All right, that's pound Audi. So what is the next move on pound Audi? You need to wait, unfortunately. You cannot just go and rush into it now. You cannot go rush and try to buy this. You need to wait for structures like this. You need to wait for structures like this. Okay, so you are looking for this to break further up. So at some point you're gonna get a correction that is bigger than the rest, something deeper like that for further upside. So you can see here that this was actually not right here. This was a trade that we wanted to take to the downside. But that is how you adjust your analysis. You shouldn't have a bias, because when you have a bias, you are not able to change your view, or you don't want to change your view. So that's pound Audi, pound CAD. Okay, let me just go back one pound Audi. Audi is speaking about an expanding flat. There's a possibility for an expanding flat, but I don't see it. I'm looking at a continuation sequence to the upside. I can see that expanding flat that you're referring to, but I don't think that will be it. If you're gonna get one, this needs to be a corrective structure like that. Maybe okay, no, that's not the one that you're looking for. You're looking for this one to be an expanding flat, and this. But at this stage, I think this, if it corrects above this level, then it will just go further higher and break to the upside. I see what you mean by this one, but I'm more likely to see a correction here, and they were gonna keep pushing it up, and you think that it's gonna go all the way, and then when it is at the right level, we'll be able to get the timing. We will focus the blue box for the Z when it matures. That's pound Audi, pound CAD. Pound CAD, you also have here a three-wave move to the upside. You need to get a correction and a further move to the upside. Okay, so I do not think this is not an expanding flat. This is significantly broken lower than the A. So we've got a three-wave move here. So this could be starting its own correction. Okay, so this could be the first leg of the correction, which should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, possibly a correction here, and a move and a move. So we don't know which one is gonna form. So we're gonna wait and see which one we get. But for now, you can get a corrective structure here and a further upside like that. Okay, and then we're gonna get a corrective structure. Okay, so that's what you're gonna be looking at on pound CAD. Pound New Zealand. Exactly. All right. So pound New Zealand. Pound New Zealand, very interesting. Looks like we've got a triangle that is completed there. So there's a nice, there's a question that, there's a good question that somebody asked. So where does this trend line for the triangle start? But this triangle does not start here. Okay, this trend line there's no relationship between this point and this point. So your triangle starts here. Okay, it's an A move, it's a B move, it's a C, D, E, and then it looks like we're coming to the upside. Why do I say we started here? Because if you've got a running triangle, let's say this is your pulsing move. If you've got a running triangle where your B wave breaks the top of the A here, you do not regard this as your as part of your triangle, because then that will mean that this is an A, B, C, D, E before it goes. Now you have here what we call a running triangle, a triangle with a B that breaks the top. So your triangle does not start here. Okay, some education, some free education for everybody. Your triangle does not start there. Your triangle starts on the next string. Granted, you do find structures where this aligns perfectly, but in this case, your triangle cannot start at that level. It starts here. This is your starting point for your triangle. Okay, free education. I'll send you guys invoices. All right, so let's carry on with the next move. I see there's somebody typing something. Yes, that was the case on pound CAD. So let me just go back to pound CAD. So pound CAD, we were looking for this. Remember, we're looking for this here to just make a. You see here, I still have that 88 that you're referring to. You still have that 88 that we're referring to. So I'm looking at this to make a corrective structure. So here we've got a 3-wave move. I'm looking for this to make a corrective structure in this area, and I'm still gonna expect a move down. I do not think that this is the overall reversal at this stage. Okay, I'm still expecting further downside. All right, good. Let's carry on with the rest. We're still looking at New Zealand, pound New Zealand. So pound New Zealand, what are we looking out for here? We're looking for this triangle to play out. Corrective structure, upside, W, X, Y. Okay, you can look for that corrective structure in the lower time frame. Let's go 1 hour. So pound New Zealand, it's moving in a very messy pattern. So you're not getting very clear entry points here, but if you get an entry point, a nice entry point like this one, 1, 2, 3 wave move here, you can actually hop onto this one. You need to get corrective structures to get onto this because you're looking for further upside. Okay, corrections on pound New Zealand, you're looking for further upside. All right. Let's carry on. That's pound New Zealand, pound CAD we did. Pound CHF we did. I think that concludes all the pound pairs. Did I miss any? Pound New Zealand is the one that we just did now. Okay, let's go daily. Euro pound. All right, so Euro pound we looked at last week. We had this move. If you remember, last week we had this move, and we want this to give us a correction for entry. This is the move that we had last week. Okay, but that did not break down. Even currently, this is still not confirmed. What has happened now is that we've got a 3-wave move down. So a 3-wave move down, we'll wait for this. We'll need a corrective structure to enter here. But we're gonna need to see how this drops. If it drops slowly and it makes another 3-wave move like that, this may just be making a correction for further, for more upside. Okay, somebody's asking about pound New Zealand, how far that will go. We'll go back to that a bit later. All right, let's continue with the euros first. All right, so this is euro pound, and we'll be looking for downside. This trend line does not mean anything, and you can see where I've even drawn it. Okay, this is not the right trend line, so I don't use trend lines to trade. I'm only using them to identify the structures. So wait for this corrective structure for one more. That is euro pound and euro New Zealand. So Euro New Zealand, we spoke about this. When this was building up, let's look at this structure here. We looked at this correction and I said two things are going to happen here when this one comes here. This can come back down for one before we go, and that will mean that this is forming a structure like this. And then it goes. Okay, so if it goes from here, that means that this is the structure that is completed and it is ready to go. Because that is why we wanted this to give us a correction. And if you needed to enter here, you needed to put your stop to break even when it gets to this level. Okay, when it gets to that level, you put your stop to break even because your stop would have been here. So now you just write this risk free. And what is your target for this one? So the target for this one is, you'll see here, we're looking for this to go all the way back to the previous high at this level. So all you do here, you keep taking the corrective structures and you take it to that level. That's what you're looking at on Euro New Zealand. And you will see that while the other Euro pairs were dropping, EURAUD and Euro New Zealand have been on a bullish trend. Let's go down to the lower time frame, 4 hour. Okay, so on the 4 hour, you are looking at this to start building up this correction here. Come tag here, down, and then goes. Okay, so any correction like this one is a good opportunity to buy Euro New Zealand. So keep waiting for this. When you get a decent correction like that, you keep it and hold it up until that target. Okay, this usually goes very fast, so it will not take your stop once you get a good entry point. So you can just hold on to it. Right, so that's Euro New Zealand, EURCAD. EURCAD, we made a 3-wave move to the upside. 1, 2, 3. We made a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's why with this move, I'm looking at this as a move down, as a move correction, and as a move down. So it's a 3-wave move down, and now we are busy with this corrective structure. Okay, so there's a possibility that this can come back to this level, here, and this is a corrective structure that is currently happening here for further up. So the only way I'm gonna disregard this, I'm disregarding this flat correction because of this 5-wave move that has happened there. So I'm not gonna look at this as a correction. I'm gonna look at this as a 5-wave move to the downside. Hang on a second, guys. Okay. So we are not gonna look at that as a flat. We are going to look at that as only a 3-wave move down. 1, 2, 3 down. So whatever is happening here is a correction on its own. If it's going to correct everything here, we'll see. So now we've got a move down. So we've got this move down. We need to see what we're going to get here. Short term, we can come back to this level. Okay. So this can even come back here, do that, give us this corrective structure. So we need to wait and see what you get from this one, because it can give you this one. And if it does that, then you've got a WX. And then you're going to be looking for this move to carry on to the downside. We looked for it, we wanted it to come down impulsively, so this may not come down impulsively as we expected. This is the impulsive move that we had looked for. Let's go to the daily. So on the daily, you will see that we looked at this as a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and we also wanted this one to give. We actually wanted this one to give us a pulsing move, because a flat is a 5, 3, 5. It's a 3, 3, 5. Okay, but that should not change the structure. If it then comes down here, gives us this one here, the one that we're forecasting here like that, and give us a move to the downside like that. That doesn't change anything. It's simply, it will still be a flat correction. Okay, so that structure can still happen there. You can still have that structure and come down to that level. Okay, so nothing has changed. We're still bearish on this one. Yes, granted, it is currently doing this correction, unless it is making a structure that is similar to what Pound AUD has made. Let's look at Pound AUD. Let's bring Pound AUD. It has made a similar structure. There is a possibility for this to just go from here, but let's look at what pound AUD has done. Okay, the sequence for this one is not for upside, but we can look for upside based on the structure that was done by pound AUD. Let's look at pound AUD. Let's look at that pound AUD here. You see, it's exactly the same structure. So pound AUD, pound AUD. No, I'm looking for. Let's have a look here. EURCAD. Okay, so you see EURCAD and pound AUD. Look at the structures. It is possible for this structure to go like that, to just keep going. Okay, the fact that it's making this drop here doesn't mean anything. It has made the drop here as well. You see that big red candle there. So there's a possibility for this to also just go like that. So both possibilities we need to have a look at. So how are we gonna know which one is gonna be? You see here, I'm looking at two completely different pairs that have formed exactly the same structures. How are we gonna know which one is gonna be when you get a corrective structure here, or you get a reversal here? You'll see this in the lower time frame. Lower time frame will give you a clear corrective structure around that area. Okay, exactly the same. So that's why you need to look at both sides so that you don't miss any move. Okay, and you don't need to have a bias. All right, so that is EURCAD. I'm going to go back to one chart now. That's EURCAD. Don't go and rush and sell because of this candle. Doesn't mean anything. All right, so that's EURCAD. Let's see EURAUD. EURAUD has already broken this. High here. EURAUD, we're looking at this one as an ending diagonal in wave C, an ABC move like that. We've got a clear 5-wave move from this level. Actually, no, that's not an. We're looking at it as a leading diagonal. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. If I show it with the clear labelings, you'll see we've got a clear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're looking for this one to be an ABC move. But the way it looks now, yes, it has broken the top here. Doesn't mean anything yet. We need to see if this is going to give us a impulsive move down to give us this as an ABC move. I don't think so. I don't think this is an ABC move. I think this move has actually completed, and your correction is all of this. But that this can be all the correction. It is possible. Okay, so what will tell us whether we're getting further upside is if we get a corrective structure above this level. Then that will still go with the New Zealand. Because same with the New Zealand, the AUD also has a long-term target that is not so far away. And that is, let's switch off here. That is here around this level. AUD, you'll be looking for it to come up to this level. Correction, we're looking for it to come there. All right, it has broken up here. So I don't expect this to give us a flat there. I'm expecting it to go straight from there. That's a EURAUD, EURCHF, EURCHF. It's about to give us a correction here into the blue box. We're looking for it to come down to the blue box and give us a bit of a bounce and a continuation. Okay, we've got that move. So if we get that, we're going to be looking for further downside. So you're looking for this on EURCHF. Continuation, this is a daily, so you look for continuation flex in the lower time frame, something like this. And you'll be looking to take it down into the blue box. Blue box doesn't mean it's going to reverse. It may just correct from the blue box and continue with a move to the downside. Okay, so overall long-term target on EURCHF. On EURCHF, your long-term target is this one here. Drawing it skew, trying to draw it straight. Let's get it straight. Long-term target. So what's going to happen with this? This has already, let's switch off. The structure is building here. This is the structure that we have here. That structure looks to have been completed. 1, 2, three-wave move. Very easy when I draw it now. It's easy to see it in hindsight. So we're looking for this to come back to the blue box, give us a correction. And when it gets to give us a correction, we're going to be looking for it to come down. Okay, we're going to be looking for it to come down. There's a possibility for this to even break through this. Okay, but we expect that when it comes to this level, we're going to get a bounce. But that's still far. Now we need to wait, see what happens in the blue box, because it's very close to the blue box now. Okay, so that's EUROCHF. I think that concludes all the euros. We can look at some of the Audi pairs, like New Zealand CAD. They're setting up nicely as per analysis. So these are one of my favorite pairs because they are so reliable. When you understand the structure, you'll see that a pair like this one here does not have a single pulsing move on the screen. Okay, there's not one single pulsing move here. So what are we looking out for? You are looking for this corrective structure to build up. You're looking for this corrective structure to build up. What is it doing in the short term? In the short term, it's coming up, and then we're going to be expecting that it comes down. So we're going to look into the lower time frame. Let's go into the 4-hour and see that structure. Okay, so in the 4-hour, we are busy with the structures. There's a possibility that this is all the correction that you had, and now we've got another three-wave move down, and it's coming down. So this can come back down here, come back up, and then drop. So if it does come back up here, any move here where you get an entry point, you're taking it right down back to this level, which is the 82 level. We're currently at 85. So it may even come back to the 87 level. So if you get an entry point around that level, you want to take it down here, because around this area, this is where we're going to be looking to buy this long term, like very long term. That's why you saw that line on the daily. Okay. If we just go back to the daily, going back to the daily, so this is your level that we're speaking about, short term, but not necessarily short term. This is about 500 pips to this level. Okay, and around this level, we're going to be expecting this reaction all the way back to the upside. So that's New Zealand CAD. Let's see how that plays out. Audi New Zealand. So Audi New Zealand, let's see what we're looking at here. It is currently it has made this three-wave move to the upside, and now we are making this move to the downside. And if we're coming to the downside here, this will come back to this level. But first, we'll come back to this level here. Okay, let's see. Let's switch off there. You get a corrective structure here, you'll be coming back to this level. Okay. And if this level is broken as well, we're coming back to this level. And this level is the one where we want to take it all the way with that move. Okay, but for now, we're going to take these short-term moves to the downside. Let's see. Audi is weak. Audi is weak, so any corrective structure that you find in the lower time frame, you're taking it down. Okay, let's see here. What have we done here? What has happened here is that we had a move down. We had a corrective move. We're now coming down. So any corrective structure, you take it down, especially when it breaks below this level, it's exposing further downside. So keep an eye on that one. That's on the 60-minute Audi New Zealand. You wait for those corrective structures and just keep selling them. All right, I think that is there any other pair that was we've already done pound US dollar. You can just watch the video. Somebody asked about pound New Zealand and how far that will go. Let's just look at pound New Zealand. So pound New Zealand, if I'm looking on the daily, pound New Zealand can go very far. Okay, so pound New Zealand, we've got this three-wave move. We've got this correction that is currently playing out here. Okay, so there's a possibility that this can actually get to that level. I don't think it will go in a straight line. So that's what you're going to be looking at on pound New Zealand. It may go as far as that level. Okay, carry on. But you need to get we need to get a setup to confirm that level. Not confirmed as yet. CADCHF. CADCHF, you're looking for this to continue to the downside. We did this one historically in the week. So what we do in our group is look at this pairs historically all the way to the lowest time frame. So you know the direction 5, or you can know 2, 3, 4, or even 5 wave moves beforehand. So now what are we looking at on Audi or CADCHF? We're looking for it to drop a little bit more. And then we're going to be expecting that it reverses around that area for another move to the upside. So what is the next move? This is the daily chart. So you're looking for a correction on the daily. These are a couple of pips. It's about 300 pips to the downside if you get a nice entry point here, because your target will be at that level. All right, that is CADCHF. Looking at AUDCAD. Okay, let's look at AUDCAD. Okay, AUDCAD. Continuation to the downside to that level. And please make note, I am not looking at support and resistance levels. So if I'm looking at that level, I'm looking for something like this, which would be this. And that would be a 3-wave move, something like this, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So lower time frame, if you go to the lower time frame on this 1 hour, look for corrective flex to the downside. Just going to the 1 hour now. So every time you get structures like this, corrections like this, corrections like this, corrections like this, it's easy to mark them after they've happened. But while it's playing out, you don't see this. But if I mark it now and it happens again, you won't miss it if it does that again. So you keep selling it like that. Okay, we're still looking for this to come down. That is AUDCAD. Now looking at US oil. US oil is playing out exactly as we have looked at. Let's go back to the daily first. So if you remember here on oil, this was the 5th wave, the apparent 5th wave, and what we are getting now is a corrective structure. So we focused on this first move. There was an A move that could tell us that we are looking for this one to make a 1, 2, 3 wave move. And if that is a 3-wave move, and this was a long move from the downside. Let's clear all that. So it's a big move to the downside, so it could not be only corrected by this small correction. So I focused on that if we get a 3-wave move down here, we could get something like this, and even get something like this before we go. So that's what you're going to be looking at on oil. So 2 things can happen that won't affect the structure of oil. If this continues to come in, take this level, comes back here to this level, and oil does this, nothing will have changed. It will still be a 3-wave structure on oil before we go. Okay, so we are just in a deeper correction on oil. So correction, you may not be able to focus to the pip what happens in the correction, because it can take different forms, but it won't change the overall corrective structure externally. The corrective structure externally will still be a move down, will still be a B, will still be a C here. The only difference will be which corrective structure you will get here. But whichever one it is, when it's done, you will be able to know and how to and you'll know how to trade it as well. All right, so that's oil. Now we can look at the indices. Let's look at the S&P 500. So finally, the S&P 500 has broken that level that we have been looking at from right at the start of this thing. Okay, so we are now at this level. What does that mean? We've been focusing that when we get to this level, we're going to get a move to the downside, but I disqualified that move because this is all the correction. This is all the correction. This is not the correction. There is no such structure in the Elliott wave theory. Okay, that is a contracting flat. There is no such structure. Okay, unless you're trading something else that is not the Elliott wave theory, but there is no such structure. And so if there is no such structure, we cannot look to get this to come down here. Okay, so we've got that correction, and now we have taken that level. So I'm expecting that around this level we can get a corrective structure, and we keep pushing higher. Okay, why will we push higher? Because the NASDAQ has already done the exact same thing and pushed higher. Let's look at the NASDAQ now. The NASDAQ. So NASDAQ, that move that you saw on the S&P 500, the NASDAQ has broken already in April. Okay, what did it do after breaking? It did the same thing that the S&P 500 is doing now. It pulled back. S&P 500 may not necessarily do the exact same structure, but it may make a corrective structure around that level and keep pushing higher. Okay, so now all the indices looks to be pulling back, so we're looking for those corrections. So you can take short-term moves to the downside. Okay, you've got a pulse, you're waiting for the correction, you can take that move. That may not go all the way. It may even do that, and then just show you continuation. That's what you're going to be looking at on this pairs. All right, let's clear all that. So that's the NASDAQ. Let's see what the next one is. Next one is the interesting one is the UK 100, which has made a big move to the downside. Let's open up there. Initially, when this was dropping, it was the expected move. The expected move was that this has made a three-wave move down, a three-wave move up. So we're expecting that it's going to make a three-wave move down as well. Okay, you can see that it's going in all three waves: 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So my target was at this area. Okay, now it has broken even lower than my target. This is still a valid zigzag, and there's nothing that stops this from correcting around this level. But this looks actually bearish at this stage. So let's look at the higher time frame and see what this could play out like. Okay, so we've got this three-wave move to the downside. I do not think that this can reverse here at this stage. There's no signs of a reversal. We can just get a correction here for another move that will come and retest that level. Okay, so looks like we're going to be starting. We'll be building this correction here, which is a three-wave move: 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's what you're going to be looking out here for. All right, and after the correction, we'll expect a push higher. Okay, this looks like of all the indices, this one looks like it has been hit the hardest compared to the others. The Nikkei. So Nikkei, we've made this three-wave move to the downside. This is all a correction on the Nikkei, and then we started a move to the upside, and this move looks like it's doing something like this. We're looking to, this one has got a clearer structure than the others. We're looking for this to come down here, and after that we'll look for this to then further move to the upside. Okay, so Nikkei is clearer. We just need to use the right color here, which is yellow, and then retest that top. And from there, we'll expect that it will even break it because the NASDAQ has already broken this level and went. Okay, so the Nikkei and the S&P 500 are lagging the NASDAQ. Right, so that is the Nikkei. Let's look at DAX. DAX. So DAX, we made this similar move as the UK 100. We've made a passing move. Now we're making this three-way move. So we're looking for this one to come down to that level as well. So from that level, there's a possibility of a bounce and a possibility of a move down and get this structure. Okay. So let's see how that plays out. So next immediate move is for you to get to this level. Possible that this is a three-wave move like that, but we will see when you get to this level if we get a bounce. If we get a bounce here. All right, so that is the DAX. NIFTY, let's look at the NIFTY. Have I put it on the, yes, I've got it on the watch list now. NIFTY. Nifty is just on steroids. It's just pushing higher and higher. Let's see, we are now on that fifth wave that started from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think here you're gonna need a push higher because in the wave 5 you've got 1, 2, 3, and we are busy with the 4 here now. This pullback is a 4, and this will push further up, and that will then complete that wave 5 on the Nifty. Okay, so that's what you will look out for on the Nifty: a correction and a push higher. So when we look at the Nifty, we also look at that Sun Pharmaceutical stock that we're trading for. We're looking at for some of the Indian traders who prefer this Indian stocks. So that is Sun Pharmaceutical. That trade is going very well. Right, we're monitoring it. It's got a long-term target. So that's where we entered. That's where we entered this one, and it just keeps pushing higher and higher. And the target is right at the top. We're looking to, actually that target is modest. This can even come back to that level, but don't rush it as yet. Just keep buying this. Just keep buying this. If you get good entry points, keep buying all the way up. Not gonna go in a straight line. At some point you will get a deeper correction like that. Okay, so that is the Nifty. Now let's look at the cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrencies. See, Galaxy is asking. There's somebody with the Galaxy Tab S5. I don't have much time to discuss that right now, but maybe we can have a look at that when we are done with all the past. Now, let's look at the cryptocurrencies first. Let's look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin. So a Bitcoin is a good example of how you adjust a structure as it plays out. You see, this is what we had last week on Bitcoin. Has anything changed? Nothing has changed except you had a three-wave move. You had a three-wave move like that. Okay, we expected that after this correction, this will drop. This was last week, and now we've got that drop. So how do we adjust this? That means that this is not your Y. Your Y is going to be here as you expected. This is not going to be a Y. Your arrow that was there, you just move it there, because I do not focus the time cycle here. I don't focus the time cycle. Time cycles are a different thing, but it should be similar to what you're looking out for. What do I mean by that? So what I'm saying here by time cycle is that I'm only analyzing price levels. Okay, but you can also, using the Elliott Wave theory, analyze the time cycle, how far it will take to get to this level. That can be forecasted with the fibs. So you're going to need, you will obviously need a different tool to be able to do that. Okay, but I do not do that here. All right, so let's have a look. What do you look at for on Bitcoin? Bitcoin, you're looking for further downside. Correction here. This gives you this move. Okay, so possibly if you extend it, the structure can come up to that level. Okay, so further downside on Bitcoin. Now Ethereum, interesting if you look at Ethereum. Ethereum has made that all-time high, same as the rest of the cryptocurrencies, and the beginning of the year, and now it has made a three-wave move down. It has made a correction, and now it is making this move to the downside. And the target for this move is all the way right down to this level. We can even go back lower. Okay, so this will be actually back to where we started. So most people could not believe that we're actually going to get this level when we were forecasting that the cryptocurrencies may lose their value around that level. Look how far we are now from where we were in January. We are not so far now. Okay, same as Bitcoin. And let's look at, we've looked at Ethereum now. Let's look at Litecoin. Litecoin. So Litecoin similar. We are not so far now. Look where we were in the beginning of the year and how much we've lost. Okay. We are now looking for these two. Okay, at least come here and give us a bounce. It is very close to zero now. It's on a mere 55 cents. Very close to zero now. Okay, did you ever think we were gonna get that? We never thought we excuse me, we never thought we were gonna get there, but we are very close now. And you can see the structure is still telling you downside, it's still telling you sell. Okay, let's see if we get to zero, what's gonna happen there. That's gonna be very interesting. All right. That is Litecoin. Now, lastly, let us do Ripple. Ripple, 28 cents. How far away from zero? Not so far. Not so far. Very close to zero. What's going to happen if we get there? Let's see. Structure is telling us we can still get there. Okay. I did say this almost a month after this started dropping, that we may get to the zero levels on the cryptocurrencies. So let's watch and see how it happens. So there's nothing that stops Bitcoin from going to that zero level as well. Let's see here, just go back to Bitcoin. But it looks like there is some divergence on Bitcoin. Let's see if there is any divergence. There's no clear divergence. So this move that we're expecting, this one up, may not happen. And this Bitcoin can just keep pushing lower like the rest. How far are we now from zero on Bitcoin? We are not so far. And the structure can get us there, even if we don't get that bounce. If we don't get that bounce, that means this is all the correction, and the target will be a move here and a move there. Let's see what the target will be. Let's just check. Target will be much lower. Target will be much lower than the zero level. Okay, are we gonna get there? Let's see. Breaking this level exposes that next level. Okay, let's see. It will be interesting to see how the cryptocurrencies behave at those levels if we get there. Thank you very much for attending, guys. Have a great week ahead. Please like and subscribe onto the video. Thank you for watching, and thank you for all those likes. Have a great week. Have a great week ahead, guys. Good luck. Cheers. Bye bye.